Hey guys, ECRG here, back with another episode. Today's episode is about clinical research jobs for nurses. So these are people with an RN degree. Maybe you got a year or two experience working in the hospital, or maybe not. Maybe you thought you wanted to go into nursing, but have heard a little bit more about clinical research and are interested in that. Or maybe you've done nursing 10, 15 years and just want to change. So today I'm going to talk about a few positions that you should definitely look at if you're interested in pursuing clinical research. And actually, your nursing degree is a huge asset to what your career could be in clinical research, because it is a lot easier to become some of these positions with a background in nursing in particular. So before we go into that, just want to let you guys know about the resume review program we have going on. If you're having a hard time breaking in the industry, or if you just have questions about your resume, email me eliteclinicalgroup@gmail.com. I will go over it line by line and make sure that is the best it can be for when you're applying for that dream job in clinical research. So if you're interested in that, email me eliteclinicalgroup@gmail.com. Now, when it comes to clinical research positions for nurses, the obvious one is study coordinator. So I'm going to go over here to Indeed, and we're just going to look at a little bit about this role. So, of course, as you guys know, Indeed is my favorite place to find jobs. Clinical research coordinator. And, I'm just going to click on one here. Pompano Beach, Florida. They don't really give a lot of information. Okay, here we go. Clinical research coordinator, Eatonton, New Jersey. Now, these jobs are in every city. So you do not need to be in a New York or Boston or a Raleigh-Durham area, a Research Triangle Park in Raleigh-Durham area. You do not need to be in LA. This is not one of those jobs where it helps to be in one of the premier locations for clinical research. You can do this job anywhere there's a hospital, anywhere there's a research hospital, there's going to be clinical research sites, and they're going to have positions for coordinators. So it obviously helps if you're in a big city, let's say a Houston, a Dallas, an Austin, doesn't matter, any reasonable sized city, even like a Charlotte, North Carolina, even in Asheville, North Carolina, they're going to have sites there. They're going to have study coordinators there. So this is a job you can have anywhere all over the United States. Really in a lot of the world too. London, Ireland, Canada, they have clinical research sites there because clinical research is being conducted there. India, even. So, how do you become a study coordinator? Well, one way to do that is, it's an entry-level position, so you can be a study coordinator even if you do not have a nursing background. But one of the best things about having a nursing background is you have experience with patient interaction. So it is a lot of the times it is preferred. So we'll see if we can find any today to support my claim that it is preferred. So this position requires at least a high school diploma, but a bachelor's degree in a basic science is strongly preferred. 1 to 2 years experience as a CRC is required depending on current needs. So this one doesn't exactly say. So we'll move on. Let me see. There's Wake Research in Raleigh, North Carolina. Let's see what they want. Excellent communication, detail-oriented, blah, blah, blah. BS degree or nursing licensure desired. So there it is right there. Nursing licensure. And they like this because you can draw labs. You have the phlebotomy training, really, is why I like this. They don't need to have two people to do one thing. They can hire one person to do that also. So this is a great position to get your foot in the door in clinical research. It's one of my favorite positions. It's really starting at the bottom, and you're going to build, I think, the strongest foundation, or one of the strongest foundations you can build for your career in clinical research by being a study coordinator. And it just so happens that being a nurse makes it a great fit to be a study coordinator. So that's awesome. The next position I have that I think are great for nurses is the next level up from a study coordinator, which is going to be a CRA. So I'm sure a lot of you guys already know what a CRA is. I'm not going to belabor that point. It is the position that I currently hold at the recording of this. And I love the position, and why it would be great if you're a nurse in that position is to get the study coordinator position to then eventually become a CRA. That's pretty much why. It's very difficult to become a CRA without any clinical research experience. It can be done, but I would not count on it. It's probably like a 1% chance that it could happen. But occasionally they do have programs out there where they accept people without any clinical research experience. But really that nursing background is going to be great for you to get the study coordinator position and then move on to be a CRA. So I think CRA is a great role for people that are nurses because of that medical background you're going to have. You're going to have the medical terminology aspect. You're going to not necessarily be working with patients anymore, but your experience as a study coordinator will definitely help you to be a CRA when it comes to learning more about what a CRA does on a day-to-day basis. So that's my second position for nurses. So a little bit indirect there. And then this one, I have a caveat here. This is probably only reserved for nurse practitioners or people, really at the top of their game in nursing. So you'd have to be a nurse for a while. And this is, of course, PI and sub-I. Now, a lot of people only think that a PI can be an MD, but that's not true. A PI can be a nurse practitioner, and in very rare occasions, they can be a PhD. But nurse practitioner is something that's gaining more popularity because maybe they want some extra income, maybe they really love research. Whatever the reason is, nurse practitioners are becoming more popular as PIs. And, of course, one of the best ways to become a PI is to become a sub-I first. So obviously a nurse practitioner can become a sub-I on a study, get their experience, and then move on to become a PI after they've done that for a few years themselves. So nurse practitioner, that is my second, or PI sub-I is my third position that I have here for clinical research for nurses. And then I have some other interesting ones that probably out of the box ones that a lot of people haven't heard of. One is going to be a nurse educator. So a nurse educator, and this title may be different at each company, but I know at some companies it's called a nurse educator. And this is the position where they have nurses they train them on the devices, or if there's any kind of confusing thing that, the patient or study coordinator might not get when it comes to teaching the patient how to use the device or the drug or the medicine, how to apply it, et cetera, in any capacity. So the nurses travel to the sites, usually during the SIV stage, when the CRA is on site for the SIV. They're going to train the coordinator how to administer the drug, or how to teach the patient to administer the drug to themselves, or how to inhale, or whatever the device is. They're going to be the one to teach the study coordinator in the site how to handle it and how to teach the patient how to handle it. So they travel around and do that with the sites, and it's a great role. It's not one that's probably broadcasted a lot. A lot of people probably know about PI and CRA and some of these other roles, but nurse educator is a good role too. So there's that one too, and it may be called something different at each company, but these people are typically nurses who do this. And then the fifth and final position that I have is the nurse consultant. So I know PPD has a role like this. So let's check out nurse consultant. I know PPD is famous for this type of role. Let's see. Nurse consultant. Let's see if I put PPD. Okay, maybe they don't have any positions open right now. So let me open up a new window. Nurse consultant, PPD. Okay, here's one. So I just have it set for North Carolina. Doesn't really matter. Let's see if they have any jobs. PPG. That's not what we're looking for. Anyway, so a nurse consultant is somebody that let's see. Do they have let's see if they have. Okay, here we go. They got 17 reviews for nurse consultant. So this review says, nursing knowledge or critical thinking skills are required or permitted in this role. So this is a role, they talk about having scripts where patients may call you or sites may call you and you have to answer questions about various things and, having to refer them to their physician and things of that nature. This is a position where, if you have a couple years of nursing or are tired of nursing, don't really want to interact with patients, you can become a nurse consultant. They do get paid fairly well. I think you saw anywhere from $25 to $35 an hour, depending on experience. So they can get paid pretty well. This is a job that can be done remotely. It is also a job that does typically offer some work from home flexibility also. So it's a great position. But I have heard from people that it can get boring and it can become robotic. And I think you'll see some of these reviews say that too, that it does get boring and after a while. So you have to think about your next move also after you think about nurse consultant. So those are my 5 positions that I have here for nurses. And I think, the most obvious is obviously study coordinator, but some of the other ones are not so obvious. The nurse educator, maybe then you never even heard about nurse consultant, or maybe about the PI or sub-I. How could a nurse become a PI or sub-I? I bet maybe you guys didn't know that, but I have seen that. So if there's any ones that I have forgotten or didn't talk about, please put them in the comments or send me an email, eliteclinicalgroup@gmail.com. Would love to hear back from you guys. Obviously, I don't know everything and haven't heard about every position. So I would love to hear about that if you have any opportunities or anything about that when it comes to nursing and clinical research. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. Take care, guys.